singing even though I can't sing.
Okay, let's try this. Maybe this will be better. I think it was maybe that our energy levels weren't where they should
Your
be.
energy level wasn't. Mine was ready to go.
No, it wasn't.
Yep.
It's decent now. Hello, everybody.
this, I feed
Welcome
off of
to...
Laugh and be blessed. Oh, beat you to it. Look at that.
Just keep going.
I'm your wonderful host, Chia Rubel, and with me, as always, is the lovely...
Jake Rubel.
There you go. Took a little minute there, buddy.
Keep going.
No, I'm good. I like to turn it over to you now.
Oh, that's what you always do?
Yeah.
You like to do that?
I like to give you your moment.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Welcome, everybody, to Laugh and Be Blessed, my podcast with my host. Now I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start it now. Like, what do I do? I don't know what to do with my hands.
Come on, quick.
I can't do it now. I feel malfunction. It does not compute. We're so happy to be here. We're happy to be here. It's just another wonderful Sunday, and Chia took a lovely little nap.
I did.
I wrote a bunch of articles today, and now it's time to just do our favorite thing of the week, which is a podcast.
Right.
You know, it's where that's the only time of the week that we actually communicate.
Yep.
We don't talk anymore, because every time we start to, it's like, save it for the podcast.
Right, exactly.
You know, I'll be like, hey, babe, you know what I was thinking? She goes, save it for the podcast. And then she just walks out on me. We don't even sleep in the same room anymore. I'm just kidding. Oh, man.
We don't sleep at the same time.
That's true. We usually do not sleep at the same time.
Maybe an hour overlap. That's
yeah. It's such a glorious hour, though. It's like you appreciate those times.
That's right.
That's right.
Kind of.
So, everybody, I hope that you've had a good week. You know, and if you haven't had a good week, I don't care.
Aww.
I'm just kidding. I do care. I want everyone just to have a good week. And then I want this to be, you know, I don't know, maybe you're listening to this on Monday, you know, and you're waiting to work. And I just want to let you know this is going to be a good week. It's going to be a good week, you know? Just get out there and just do it. Right. Just make it a good one. Just make all your dreams come true. All your fun dreams come true. And that's what we're going to talk about today, but not at the moment, because we're going to get into some stuff. Let's talk about some shows I have coming up, okay? Yep. I've done this so many times, and I never, ever have my calendar open whenever I'm supposed to. So, coming up, let's go with February 16th. February 16th, I'll be at Smokestack Brew House with Andy Beningo. That's in Mishawaka. It's in Mishawaka, Indiana, so I'll be there. Now, I was supposed to have a show in Evansville on the 18th. That has changed. That show is now going to be on the 11th of February, but I will not be there. However, a good buddy of mine, Evan Burke, will be there. So if you're in the Evansville area, still go. Go see Evan. February 11th. He's hilarious and you're going to love him. But February 19th, if you go see Evan and then you're like, man, I want more of this comedy. Well, guess what? February 19th, I'm going to be in Evansville anyways. So I will be, I don't know exactly the location yet. I have to find out. There's 2 different locations that they do these shows. So I'm not sure, but I'll be in Evansville. I'll be down there, so just keep tabs on me. And I'll be in Evansville February 19th, and then should be back. We're trying to finish a date now, but I should be back in Evansville either the next month. Should be the next month I'll be back down there with Andy Beningo again. So Evansville, I'll be coming down and hanging out with you a little bit here shortly. So as of right now, that's what we got going on. There's going to be more shows pop up because I've talked with a lot of people just today about shows. So luckily, things are kind of, on the right track. People are opening things up and the vaccine's happening and hopefully we get out of this crazy mess. So that's the shows that are coming up. The shows, as far as like what we've been doing lately, I just had a show on Friday at Gutty's Comedy Club in Greenwood at their new location at the Sterling Event Center. And it was great. I hosted a show for Clint Hall. A Facebook friend of mine, Vin, was going to be the feature. It was the first time we actually met, so he was hilarious and just polite to be around. He's a doctor. So I have friends that are doctors. Not a big deal, Chia.
You're so cool.
You have friends that are doctors? Me too. And James Tanford did a guest spot there, and James did a wonderful job. He's always a delight to be with, and he's very funny, and I like him. And then Clint Hall did a great job headlining, so that was a fun show.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday, so we did that. That was on Friday, I had that show, and then Saturday, we went to a show I wasn't a part of. What did we do Saturday, Gia?
We went to Disney on Ice, and I was very pleased with how Bankers Life Fieldhouse set up social distancing. There was pod seating, and honestly, I could always do that because we were at the last 5 seats at the end of a row. No one in front, no one behind, no one to the side of us,
it was
and
nice.
then we could get right out into the aisle, and it was so great.
I'm sure they have to do it to where they have multiple shows now, since it's limited tickets. They'll probably do more shows than they normally would. But man, leaving,
yeah,
like
but
getting in there and
gives you
leaving,
more of a chance to go.
Oh, man, I'm just saying, so for them, I don't know if they're losing money or if it's a big hassle to have more shows. But man, as far as attending an event like that, that's the way to go.
And normally, if we go somewhere that's really packed, we always just tell the kids to stay in their seat for a while, let other people filter out, because we don't.
I can't do it.
Yeah, we don't want to be caught up in a huge crowd.
Yeah.
But we were able to just go right out because the crowd wasn't bad at all. It was
nice. It was good.
Didn't take forever to get out in the parking garage. Now, here's a fun little thing.
Ugh, Disney wants my pocket knives.
So
Disney wants that pocket knife.
What is it, a Kershaw?
Yes.
So Jake has this Kershaw, and it's really cool, blue, purple swirl of metallic-y colors. I don't know.
It's like a rainbow.
Yeah, but it's really cool. So
it's my favorite pocket knife that I've had for
He's had this for 10 years. So, little backstory. We went for my 29th birthday down to Florida with some friends, and they kind of took us to some of the resorts of Disney just to see what it was like. And we got on the monorail and stuff. And we got on the monorail at the...
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Anyways, at one of the resorts. And Jake was like, oh man, I have my pocket knife on me. And the guy was like, just keep it in your pocket.
Yeah, he's like, just put it in the bottom of your pocket and keep it there. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem.
You have to walk through metal detectors.
And it's not like I was carrying a knife maliciously.
Yeah, it's not a big, huge knife. It's probably, 3 inches?
Yeah, where I'm from, you just carry a pocket knife.
Yeah.
Every man does. And women, a lot of women do. Chia has a smaller version of the exact same knife.
So we go from that resort to another resort. We go in there. We look around. Oh, it's nice. It's cool. And we're coming out. This time around, Jake pulls out his pocket knife, says the same thing, and the guy just holds it in his hands like, yeah, you're not supposed to get on the monorail with a knife. So he's acting like we either have to leave or he has to throw it away.
He's not giving any direction. He's just holding my knife, and he's like, well, you're not supposed to. And I was like, hey, man, I totally get it, but the guy down there just said keep it in the bottom of my pocket. And it's fine. So, I'll just put it back in my pocket. We'll get on here and we'll go. And he's like, well, he shouldn't have said that. He was being super dismissive.
Yeah.
I guess
you
could
say
just
turning the knife over in his hand and looking
admiring it. It's a nice knife.
It's
and
pretty.
He's really, really checking it out. So after 10 minutes, basically what happened was I was like, give me my knife back. I'm walking.
Yeah.
And so I put the knife, because it's like a $60 knife.
Yeah.
I put it back in my pocket and walked away. But
our friends that are with us were like, and we even asked, you can get on the buses with the knife. You can go in the parks with the knife. You cannot get on the monorail.
I even asked, can I put it in the gift shop, behind the counter with somebody and come back and get it later?
Yeah.
And they were like, but the guy wanted my knife is what it came down to. He just kept staring at it and turning it over and running his fingers across it. It was real weird and it was creepy the way that he was doing it. So we ended up just not getting on the monorail.
Yeah, so we got on the bus and went back to where our car was and got to keep the knife and everything, no big deal. Fast forward now, a few years later, we go to Disney on Ice. And as soon as we walk in, Jake's like, oh, man. And I look at him and I'm like, what? And he's like, I got my knife in my pocket. And I was like, well, I guess we'll ask.
Well, and
So-
I'm super respectful. I completely get it. It's a rule of these places. I
Yeah.
just forget that I have it is my issue.
So
So I walked right up to her and told her, I was like, hey, I have my pocket knife on me. It's really, really small, but I just wanted to let you know. And she's like, well, do you mind throwing it away?
now that I don't think she really cared that much about keychain because she hadn't even seen it at this point.
Yeah, she's like, do you mind throwing it away? And I was like,
Yes.
I mean, kind of. I'd kind of rather not throw it away.
However, I did look at Jake and say, do you just want to run it back to the car real quick?
But we were across the street, 3 stories up in a parking garage to go put it back. So I have really bad like anxiety in these situations. I don't handle them well. Because my thing is, I just want to get done. I just want to be done. I
At
just
that
want to
point,
move
he
through.
just
I
wanted
want
to
to be
get to our
done.
seat and be done.
So I was just like, fine, take it, throw it away, fine.
So
take it.
Jake's mood is now. We go to the metal detector. Jake's mood is now down. I don't want that. I was really excited for this trip. So now he's like irritable, and
I was playing it very
You
good.
did
though.
good,
I
but
was
I-
like, I'll be fine.
but I could
drop
feel
it,
your
'cause
energy.
You kept bringing it up.
because I could feel your energy,
And I was
knew it
like, well,
wasn't
let's
me.
just leave it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I'll get over it. I'll buy another one. I was like, it just sucks because that's the same. I've had that knife. I'm weird. You guys know
So-
that I collect things. I'm weird. I liked this knife.
So we start to get in line for them to take our tickets, because you have to, when you get outside, they COVID screen you, then you go to the metal detector, then you give your tickets, and then you can go to your seat.
Right.
So we're getting in line, and I could just feel his negative vibes. I knew this was going to suck for him, and I was like, do you want me to go see if I can just hide it somewhere? And he's like, yeah, see if you can hide it under one of the trash cans. And I was like, okay. So I go up to him and did you throw it away yet? They hadn't thrown it away yet. I was like, all right.
Because she was going to keep it.
I mean, she did have it like kind of set
Tucked
up
away.
on the side.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I want to go.
People want this covered
Because
in
I
knife.
looked in the trash can right when I got back up there, and it wasn't in there. So I was like, okay. I didn't have to like dig through it. There wasn't a lot of trash in there. Let me point that out.
I just figured you glanced.
I could see everything in
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So she's like, yeah, but if you're gonna hide it outside, in the planters, just so you know, the security guards see it, they will throw it away. So you want to be off property. And I was like, okay. So I go in the parking garage and get to the stairs where we came out of, and there's a trash can right there, so I was just going to put it there. And then there was these 2 guys, and I was like, oh yeah, they won't let my husband keep this. And I thought, well crap, now they know it's here. So I book it up 3 flights of stairs, don't have the keys, and I hide it over by the car. And then like I run back. I was probably gone 5 minutes, if that.
It seemed like a long time to us because we
No.
had to get in and out of line a bunch of times.
So, and then I get back in there.
So
and,
Chia
like, I'm out
saved
of
the
breath.
knife.
Yes,
Chia saved my knife.
did.
I
However,
really
if
appreciate
Jake
it.
had listened to me in the first place, it would
This
have been
knife,
said
but
and
this
done.
knife's been with us. Like I lost it for 2 years.
Yeah.
I lost this knife for 2 years. It was my favorite one. I lost it. I bought another one, and was just like, okay, well that one's just gone. So I was bummed about it, but it is what it is. 2 years later, I'm working on one of our cars. We had a Camaro at the time. I'm working on the Camaro, and I'm pulling the
R.I.P.
I'm pulling the carpet out for some reason. I'm redoing the carpet in it or something. I pull the carpet out around the seat, and it had at one point fallen down in between the seat, and somehow fell right into where the seat post comes up through the carpet and went under the carpet. So it was between the carpet and the floorboard.
Mm-hmm.
So I got it back. So this knife's been with me for a while. We've been through it. You know, it's a
pretty
good friend of
exciting.
mine. So then we actually get in and we go up to the show, and it was a good show. Disney on Ice. It was, you know, I've never been. I like Disney. You guys know that. But you know, would I have went on my own? No. Would I have taken my kids on my own? Would I even thought of it? No. But Chia, just one day, she's like, hey, I just got us tickets to Disney on Ice. And I was like, oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, because I just do what I want.
Yeah, well, you're wonderful, and you should be able to. So, yeah, so we watched the show, and it was cool. There was Hercules wasn't in it, so I think that's a ripoff. But whatever, you know, it is what it is. So we did that last night. It was a lot of fun. It was fun.
It was fun.
It was
I
great.
liked it.
I think they focused a little too much on Cinderella.
They always do.
You know,
Like
I'm
she's
just not a
something
fan.
special.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan. And then the majority of the second half was just Frozen,
Yeah. There
which
was a
I
big
get.
portion
And
for it.
Frozen, I don't mind Frozen. That movie's okay.
No.
I don't mind it, so that's fine.
We had some good Moana, and they brought out Miguel.
Yeah,
And
that was
Coco
my
for
Coco was
ya.
my favorite part.
Yes,
I really
yeah.
enjoyed that.
And Sleeping Beauty was good because it was like the fight with the dragon.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
The fire. Yeah.
Pyrotechnics. Yeah.
Pyrotechers?
Stop it. I said it.
There's guys.
Close to right.
You know those
Why
guys
do
that
Some
come out
people
work with
are
fire.
supportive
You
when
call
their spouse
it, what is
says
it?
something
Fire
dumb.
techers? Are they fire techers? The guys that work with the fire? Fire techers.
God don't like ugly, Jake.
What does that mean?
You're being ugly.
I'm not being ugly.
You are.
That's rude. Why even bring it up the way I look? All right,
Your
so that's,
personality
that's,
is being
that's
ugly
what's going on.
right now.
Let's
You
talk about
Dilbert.
let's move on. Let's move
Okay.
on. All right, we have a
Let's-
structure of the show because you like structure. Everybody knows. Board games.
Or games.
So last week we told you guys we were going to play Jaws after the podcast. We did. It is now one of my favorite games.
It's much easier than it looks. It looks so complicated.
It looks very intimidating because there's two phases. Like the first phase is you have the crew, which is the crew. I mean, it's Quint, it's Brody, and Hooper. So them against the shark. So you can either play 4 people or 2 people,
But
one. I
But
think.
that other person has to be all 3 characters.
Exactly. So
So
Chia
I had to be all
was
3
the crew. She
characters
was 3
because Jake
characters.
was Bruce, of course.
It's my favorite movie.
I got
Okay, so anyway, I played Jaws, Bruce, whatever.
I gotta be Quint, so that's all that matters.
That's true. He's my favorite character in the movie. So, and it's cool because like the first phase is basically the shark just swimming around the beaches eating people, but like mysteriously to where the crew does not know where it's gonna pop up, and the crew is throwing things out in the ocean trying to find out where the shark is.
I'm trying to scoop up people.
And once they either find out where the shark is or the shark eats 9 swimmers, then you go to phase 2, which is on the boat. So then you go to actually being on the orca and
you like flip the game board over.
yeah, and then the shark either eats the entire boat, destroys the entire boat, or eats everybody that's on the boat. So it's so much fun.
Or the crew kills the shark.
Well,
but
that's not gonna happen. Not when
I came
I'm
pretty
the
close.
shark.
I did okay.
Yeah, but I won. Who's winning this year on games? Who's winning the
I
year
don't know
so far?
because we can't remember. Hey, listeners, if you could remind us who won the Vault of Dragons game because
feel
we
like I
talked
won.
about it, and
So
I
as of
almost
right now,
thought I
we're not counting that game
because
as a game.
we can't agree with it. But we did play that within 2021.
Yeah, so that's what
We
we're
have a scorecard up right now with where we put tally marks. So Jake has 1, I have 0, but I think we're tied. But be honest, if you can remember.
Yeah, be honest. Don't all of you jump on Chia's bandwagon because all of you love
I
Chia
will,
more than me.
I will beat him later on in this year, so it's okay.
We'll see.
Well, so if you can remind us who won,
I'm gonna annihilate you this year.
just throw it out there on our Facebook page.
Like I destroyed you last year, and I'll destroy you this year.
I don't think we counted all of our games.
We
last
definitely
year.
didn't, but I still won.
So I think I might have won.
No, you don't. You seriously do not. There's no way that you think you won last year.
I did.
You did not win
Dude,
2020.
there'd be times where like we would play 9 games a sequence and I'd win 7 out of 9.
Yeah, and that's the only game you would beat
Alright.
me at. I beat you at every other game we played.
I do pretty good at Skippo and Phase 10.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, I'm leading the year
Possibly,
in
we
game
might be
wins.
tied.
I'm leading the year in game wins, and you know it. Tonight, though, you might win tonight. I don't know, because we're going to play a new game.
Wonder Woman!
Yep, we're going to play, what's it called?
I don't know, let me get it.
I think it's just called Champion of the Amazons or something. It's a new game that we got that's actually by the same company who makes the Jaws game that we really, really liked.
Challenge of the Amazon.
Challenge of the Amazons. So, yep, don't get it out right now. We're busy.
I'm just sitting on the table.
Okay, so we're going to play that tonight,
Don't
and we'll
tell
let you
me
guys know
what
how it
to
goes.
do.
Maybe we should start taking pictures of the games and posting them to the
Yeah.
group. That way people can at least see what they are. So we'll start doing that. We'll start letting you guys... Or you don't care.
Ravensburger.
Or you just don't care about the
They
games.
like it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
They
The
don't
company's
care.
called
No one ever says...
Ravensburger.
No one has ever said, I love when you guys talk about games. No one's ever said that. So, anyways, that's what we're going to do tonight, is we're going to play that game. It's going to be fun. So, let's, I don't think we have anything else to talk about as far as board games go, right?
No.
No. Okay, so then let's talk about the sponsor for this week's podcast. Can we do that?
Yeah.
The sponsor for this week's podcast is the Beautiful Wreck Podcast. Oh, weird. Podcast is sponsoring a podcast? Why would you do that? Because we believe in each other.
Yes, we do.
Rachel Weddle runs the Beautiful Wreck Podcast. It's a great time. It's nice because you can get chunks of the podcast. Sometimes she just does real quick ones that are like 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes they're a little bit longer. And I really like the podcast. I think her last episode, or the last one I listened to at least, she read diary entries from whenever she was like 12 years old and stuff.
Yeah.
And I laughed a lot at that. So it's cool. It's just a fun little podcast where she talks about different things. She talks about living on a farm in a tiny home with her family and the struggles of that. And yeah, I love it. I love the podcast. So give it a listen. So it's the Beautiful Wreck Podcast. There is a Facebook page for us, so look that up. And also she has a Patreon right now. So if you listen to it and you're like, you know what? I like this. I want to help support this. Then go to her Patreon and help and support. Because as someone who runs a podcast and as someone who gets support on Patreon, it goes a long way. Because it helps us get new equipment. It helps us pay for podcast hosting and everything. So thank you. And so check out Rachel. And Rachel, if you're listening to this, we love you. Keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome. So you're doing great.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the topic of the show.
Yes.
Topic of the show. It's a topic of the show. Topic of the show. Oh. Is that enough?
Yeah.
Or was that too much?
It was too much.
Bring it back?
Bring it way back.
Don't even say it.
Yep.
Topic of the show. So we went on our Facebook group, Jake Rubble's Blessed Ones, and we asked what you wanted us to talk about. And we had a few different options. One option was living with a large family, mostly because that day was very difficult for me. And I was getting very frustrated with living in a, what do you call that? Like a multi-generation?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's multiple generations living under one roof. And it's a huge blessing and great sometimes, and sometimes it's a struggle. So that was going to be one of the topics because that day it was a struggle. And I was like, let me vent. I just want to talk about it. That was an option. Another option was little goals, big achievements. And then the last option was favorite childhood memory. And I will be honest, it was pretty split between favorite childhood memory and little goals, big achievements. So what we're going to do is we're going to save favorite childhood memories for another time. Thank you for everybody who casted your votes on that. And we're going to go with little goals, big achievements is what we're going to talk about this week. So the reason that I think it's a good time for us to talk about this is because it's the beginning of the year. It's the first month of the year. It's a new year. And if you've been paying attention, there's something that me and Chia like to do every year. And we got a little bit of a late start. We usually have it in mind. I think we kind of have it in mind before the year starts, but also it's very organic, the way that it kind of just comes to be. It's like whatever we feel like we need that year becomes our focus. So, for instance, 2018 is when we started it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So 2018 was our year of peace.
Yeah.
That was whenever we decided that we have to make sure that no matter what happens, we achieve peace in our personal and daily lives. So that's what we have to do. So we had our year of peace, and then it was our year of self, which is basically where it was okay for us to be a little selfish. Not just that, but like, who are we as individuals?
Yeah. So we've been together since we were 17 and 18. And I think our relationship just, again, organically matured very quickly to where before I was even 18, his whole family would refer to me as his wife. Like in a jokey way, but not.
Like people could just tell, like, oh, you guys are soulmates.
So...
well, if you believe in that kind of thing, which I don't know if I really do.
I don't know. But, so 17, 18, we got together, 19, 20 when we got married, and started having kids very young, but as most of you know, we also got involved with different organizations, and we always were worried about people giving us a hard time for having kids too early and not, we thought we had to be perfect and do everything right, which is where our year of peace came in, of learning to say no to people. I learned, hey, it's okay for me to be a hot mess mom sometimes, but I just want calm and peace.
You're
And
always a hot mom.
hot mess mom.
No, you're a hot mom.
Stop.
Hey, girl.
So that's where, we even cut off different relationships with people that we were like, you know what, over time again, we've found that this was a toxic relationship and we can't do this anymore. So our year of self, though, we were really dependent on each other for each other's happiness. And I think it's great that we make each other so happy, but you have to be happy with yourself. And that's what we figured out, is you 100% have to be happy with your, I have to be able to go out by myself and be like, I like just being with me. I'm a good person. I'm a fun person. I'm a peaceful person. So that's what we worked on.
Yeah, just it was just knowing who we are. Like we've talked about it a lot of times. I had no idea who I was. I went from being a kid to being like a drug addict to being a preacher. Like I was always doing what everyone else kind of wanted me to do. So
and for me, a lot of it was about being okay if I wasn't constantly supporting Jake, which I am always supportive of him, but
I'm just kidding.
There would be times where he would have a show, but if I worked all week or I was scheduled, before in the past I'd have anxiety. I'd be like, oh, I should have been there for him. Why did I schedule myself that day? Or, I just have anxiety, and I had to learn that it's okay if I'm not always with him. Tomorrow when I get off work and we're talking, he can tell me all about it. Yeah. I don't have to be there.
No matter how many times I told her, it's okay that you can't come. You don't have to come to all of them. It's fine. You've seen my act. You know what I'm going to do. Like, you it's fine.
And I had to be okay with sometimes just being like, hey, I want to go get something done, but I want to be by myself. I don't want anyone in the car with me. I don't want anyone going to the store with me. I want to be alone.
Yeah.
And because I don't really go out a lot, although it's something new I'm doing.
Right.
But so last year, Jake actually had to remind me what last year's goal was. Last year was a very hard financial year for everyone. I hate that. I hate that so many businesses suffered. I hate that so many families suffered. For us, though, it was our best financial year. It's not the year we made the most money.
Right, but it was the year that we did the most with what we made.
Right. We got a lot of projects done around the house. We
were smart. I feel like we were just smart about what we did. We made sure that the money that was coming in was going to the right places. And that's the whole point of having a theme for the year, is like then you're just thinking of it. You're staying mindful of this one thing. So, we ended up getting some credit cards. We paid the credit cards off, and we spent money. We invested money in stocks. And then, but also like we invested in ourselves. We bought things that we've been wanting instead of
we've
just
been needing. I mean, there's things around the house that we've desperately been needing
to
do.
Not even that. Like, that is a big part of it, but also like we enjoyed when we spent our money. We weren't stupid with it like we had been in the past, where it's like, oh, well, let's just go waste a bunch of money on something. Like, let's just go eat out constantly. And I'm not saying we never eat out, but like we would eat out way too much to where last year it was like, well, let's be mindful of what we're doing with our finances. Yeah. Let's be smart about it and just think about where every dollar's going.
And we were actually laying in bed a few weeks ago, and Jake and I had said something about, we did really good last year. We got a lot done. Our credit scores went up. Our finances were really good. And Jake's like, well, yeah, it was our year of finance. And I had totally forgot at the beginning of 2020, we declared that was our year of finance.
Right.
And that's something about these goals, is it's always one word to focus on. And it's not so much just a goal as the lifestyle change, because we're going to carry it over into the following years.
Well, and that goes over back into like the topic is little goals, big achievements. Right. Like, finance, what does that mean? Yeah. Does it mean we're going to try to get rich this year? No, it means that we're going to set small goals. And we did. We both wanted to up our credit scores, and we both did a lot. We wanted to pay off a lot of our debt, and we paid a lot of it off. Like, some good things happened. Some bad things happened too financially. I'm not saying that it was the whole year was
No, but
fantastic.
that's another part
like,
of it is how we handled when that happened.
Exactly. Like, because we, again, going back, we were being mindful of it. Like, okay, well, this sucks, but how can we take care of it, you know?
Right.
So that was last year. And then Chia, you know, we hadn't really talked about it. Again, it kind of just kind of comes organically. It's just like a natural thing. Like, what do we feel like in our spirits we need to work on? And Chia texted me the other day, and she said, I think this year our goal needs to be our mind.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I think we need to focus on our mind and opening our mind and feeding our minds and just learning as much as possible this year. Just like finding things that we want to do and just learning, but not just that, exercising our brains. Like,
yes.
Like that was a big thing for us that we've been talking about here lately, and it's like we feel like we want to, like we really want to just learn more and get into some things. So how'd you say it? What'd you say exactly? It was the way.
I don't know. It's our year of mind.
Yeah, but you said it a specific way that I was like, oh, I like it.
Oh, I don't know.
And I could go back and look.
That's a long text.
We text a lot.
But not just our minds, our kids' minds too. I started to feel really guilty a lot. My kids don't read as much as I did at their age, and I think their reading level is where it needs to be, but my reading level was so advanced by their age. For instance, Jasmine's 11, she's in 6th grade. That's how old I was in 6th grade. And I remember my English teacher, he had just some old books sitting on a shelf in his room, and I asked if I could borrow Romeo and Juliet. And he said, that book, you want to borrow that book? I said, yeah, I'll be real careful with that. I thought he was concerned about the age of the book. And he's like, are you sure you want to read that? And I said, yeah. And he goes, okay. So he sent it home with me, read it, loved it, brought it back. Me and him talked about it. And the whole time we're talking about it, he seemed surprised. And I thought that was so weird. And then, of course, I had to read it later in high school when you normally read it. And I was like, I don't know. It was probably just a few years ago I realized that is not something an 11-year-old can read and comprehend.
Yeah, like
but
it's
I
not
did just
normal.
fine.
Yeah.
And it makes me kind of sad because I don't feel like I have fed my children's minds the way I should. And people can sit there and be like, oh, no, your kids are fine. They're great. I feel like if you always do that as a parent, you're never going to better yourself as a parent. I'm going to admit my shortcomings. And reading to my children or getting them to read more is a big shortcoming of mine that I want to change this year.
We talked about that the other day, and one thing that I think is I want that too, but here's what I feel like happens to me a lot. I want the memory of reading to my kids. I want them to look back and be like, oh man, my dad read me that book and everything. But man, it is a pain.
I talked about this with another parent too.
It is such a pain to read to the kids. It's not easy. Like, all the movies are lies. Kids are not just going to sit there.
Hold on, because me and a few moms talk about this. This is 1 or 2 children versus 3 children of the same age range.
Right.
We had 3 kids very close together. You have 1 kid and you can get in bed with them and snuggle and read. You have 2 and that's even a little bit more possible.
Right.
But you really do, even at 2, because this mom had 2 and her kids are really close together and she's about to have baby number 3. They talk over you, they fight, I have 3, and even at their ages, they're fighting about who gets to sit right next to me, who gets to lay their head on me. This one's bored with the book, and this one doesn't want me to stop reading the book, and you're like, okay, well, maybe I should read to them all separately. That's, over an hour of my time, which sounds really crappy as a parent, but I'm tired, and I just want to read to them and enjoy reading to them. I mean, I remember my mom reading me The Odyssey when I was like, I don't know, we were still homeschooled at the time, so I had to be in 5th grade at least. And she would read us The Odyssey every night, and I'm like, why? I need to ask her, and I'll try to remember to ask her tonight or tomorrow. Was I obnoxious like that? Did I interrupt her constantly?
See, Mom said, and I don't know how much this is true, because I don't remember this. Mom said, she told Jasmine the other day that she tried to read to me when I was a kid, but I kept asking questions.
Okay.
Like, well, hold on, what's going to happen next? Who said that? Who is that?
And you're like, I'm getting there.
And so she just got fed up with it and just quit.
Okay. But
So-
you love reading.
But I love reading.
Okay.
So I have been reading to the kids every night. So I did. So we did talk about this. We said we're going to start doing
I
this.
haven't got on my book yet.
It's okay though. I've been reading to them. I don't.
You're the good parent.
Not on the no. We're just a team. That's the thing is that we're a team.
Yeah.
I do it on weeknights, or I don't do it on the weekends. I just do it on the weeknights. And I'm reading. So I split the kids up. So
And that
I
seems to have
go.
helped.
It is way easier. So I go upstairs and read to the boys first. I put them into bed, make sure that they're all ready for bed, and then I sit down and I'm reading them Hatchet, Gary Paulson's book Hatchet, which I feel like is a perfect book to read to kids. I love. It's one of my favorite books. I've probably read this book 10 times in my whole life at least. So I'm on, I think, chapter 4 already. I read one chapter a night, which means if you're keeping count, that is 3 nights that I've read to. So, yeah, I read them a full chapter every night, and then they fall asleep before I'm done. So it's nice because then I know that they're in bed, I know that they're asleep, I finish reading, I'm done, I go downstairs, and I read to Jasmine. Now, I started to read Princess Bride to Jasmine, but because that's the book that she picked out first. And
It starts weird.
it's a weird, I don't know if it's just the edition that we have or what, but it's weird.
I don't think so. I thought it was too.
Yeah,
but I feel
it
like
starts
I looked into
weird.
it.
So, yeah, it's just not, I don't think that's a great book for me to read. I thought it would be the perfect book to read to her to go to sleep because the movie is about a grandpa reading the book to, Fred Savage. So I was like, well, this would probably be great. Didn't really pan out. So the next night, I was like, I need something where I can read one chapter a night.
Right.
I want to read a full chapter. So I need like more of a kid book. So we have the entire Little House on the Prairie series.
I think we're missing one book.
Okay, well, I'll buy it.
I gotta find that, yeah.
And I've never read them personally, but I liked the show, and I feel like I'd probably like the book. So I started reading the first one, which is Little House in the Big Woods. And yeah, we're enjoying it. I like it. I like reading it. It's very simple to read. She's got questions about it. And it turns out Roman's reading it in school, I guess. One of his teachers is reading it. So
okay.
he's even, like, talking to me about it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I'm reading to the boys, and then I'm reading to Jasmine, and then also I'm reading on my own. Now, here's why I know that... What is that noise? Did you hear that?
Yes.
Was it something outside? Was it a cat scratching?
Oh, I bet it was.
I don't know. Hold on a second. Hold on, listeners.
That sounded really creepy.
Yeah, it was real weird
It's like a weird scratchy noise. I think we might be getting ready to get killed by a ghost.
Nope, there's nothing out here.
There might have been, though. I don't know what
I don't
that
see any paw
was.
prints or anything. Maybe it was the chickens. Who knows? I don't know.
I hope it wasn't the chickens. That sounded awful.
Well, I could barely hear it because I had headphones on, so I didn't know exactly what it was. But whatever it wasn't man-made. That was a very unnatural sound.
Maybe it was supernatural.
Ooh. So I've been reading as well. Now, anyone who's been listening to this podcast knows that I have a love-hate relationship with Stephen King. He's my favorite storyteller. The stories he comes up with are phenomenal. I love these books. He has not written my favorite book. My favorite book is Ready Player One. But man, I love reading Stephen King. I really enjoy it. The issue is that his full books a lot of times I lose interest in. So I was reading, I think last time we talked about reading, I was reading Dark Tower 3. Which I think was called The Wastelands, Dark Tower Volume 3. So that's what I was reading, and then I finished it. Boom. And I was like, man, I cannot, because it was like 700 pages.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't jump into another Stephen King book. The next book in the series is over 1,000 pages. I was like, I can't jump into another one. I'm going to read a quicker book. I'm halfway through Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so I was like, well, I'll just finish that book. But Stephen King is very, very good about hooking you
at the end of
the book, and I was like, I have to keep going. So I picked up book 4, which is
Wizard and Glass.
Yeah, Wizard and Glass. It's the Dark Tower 4. It's got a little over 1,000 pages. I've been reading it since when would you say I started reading it? Maybe like Monday.
Yeah.
Probably like Monday, and I'm on page 203, I think, or something like that.
So you're getting through it quicker than the last one.
Definitely, but it's all I want to do. I don't want to watch TV
Yeah.
really right now. I just want to read. So that's why I know we're in sync, is because you text me while I was reading, while I was thinking, oh man, all I want to do is read right now. You sent me a text and was like, hey, I think that we should focus on enriching our mind this year.
Yeah.
And that's the word you used. You said, I think that this should be the year the year of the mind, where we enrich our mind and our children's minds and open it up to just reading. Like, I do feel like a lot of times I talk to so many people nowadays, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I love to read, and they're like, really? It's like, do people not read anymore?
I don't know. I don't know.
But I mean, I'm not saying like I'm not looking down on you if you don't read, but man, I feel bad for you. You're missing out.
I think
you are missing out.
It's so hard to get into reading. Now, once you get into reading, once you get your mind sucked into that world, it's wonderful. But for me, so, I've talked about the difficulty I had reading last year with the Fellowship, but that, I finished that, and then I finished Dracula this year. So now I'm reading The Two Towers. I will finish that tonight. I started that on the 7th, and I have just blown through it. But part of that is because I've been reading so much that's now my mindset. But I've talked to different people, and life can get you so bogged down, and it can bog your mind down, that if you don't work that muscle again and read, you almost have to, if you haven't read for a long time, you almost have to make yourself finish a book. I have talked to other people at work about this, and I had a conversation with someone on Litzy, which is the social media app that we use for reading. It's wonderful.
I love it.
I am not the only person who has been through school, and school has ruined my love for reading. So I used to read a ton, then I had kids, and I had mom brain and pregnancy brain, so I would read, but not at the same amount that I had once before. And then I started nursing school, and it just ripped that love of reading away from me. Every time you'd pick up a book, you'd feel guilty that you weren't reading your textbook, which in nursing school, the amount of reading they give you, you never finish it.
Right.
You never finish it, ever. So every time I was reading, I was like, well, I could spend this 15, 20 minutes reading my textbook, or making note cards, or going over flashcards, or being in a study group.
You just feel like you're wasting time if you're reading.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I need to use this. I need to be reading, but I need to read something that I'm going to get something from.
Which, honestly, logically, is the worst way to think, because if you work that muscle, even if you're reading fiction, it's going to help you in any kind of study you're in.
Right.
So I shouldn't have felt guilty. I should have been like, no, I have to now make sure that this muscle is good and strong and read a book I enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, and I think you're 100% right saying that, oh, well, it's a muscle, and it's you can get back into it easily because you do have to work at it. Like, it is something that it's because we train ourselves to, like, at the end of a hard day, if you watch a movie to relax, that's just what you do, and then your body's just used to that. But here on the flip side of that, if you only read to help you fall asleep at night, this is my issue, is that for a long time I would just read before I went to sleep. I'd get tired, I'd fall asleep. Then every time I read, it made me sleepy. It's because my body and mind was just conditioned to fall asleep when you read. Like, reading's boring. Read and then you'll go to sleep. So I had to read, like, I'd wake up. Now I'll wake up, and the first thing I do a lot of times whenever I wake up in the morning is crack a book open and start reading.
Make yourself some coffee.
Yeah, and that's my right now my favorite thing to do is, and let me just say how amazing my wife is. Like, she gets off work, she comes home, we have such a good routine now. Like, it's so nice.
It took forever to get it, though.
Yeah, but we were figuring it out now. She'll come home, I wake up in the morning, I get the kids ready for bed, I get the kids ready for school. Yeah. And then Chia comes home from work, she takes them to school, and then I usually go back to sleep until she comes back home. So, because she's got another hour usually between going and dropping the kids off, coming back home, taking a shower, all that stuff. Usually another hour. So I'll go back to sleep for about an hour, And I don't always fall asleep, but sometimes I just kind of lay in bed and just, rest, I guess you could say. Then she comes home, puts coffee on, takes a shower, and then she brings me a cup of coffee. And then we get like an hour or two every morning where we're just drinking coffee and talking about the night
He's
before.
drinking coffee.
Yeah, she's not. And, she is usually eating her dinner pretty much.
Yeah.
And,
we'll
we're just
read.
spending that time together, and then we'll read, or, sometimes we'll watch a little bit of TV if Chia really wants to kind of wind down, but usually we're just reading. And it's so nice to, like, have that time. And then Chia goes to sleep, and it's just me. And if I don't have any articles due that week, if I've already, like, put all my articles out, if all the animals are already taken care of, or if I'm going to take care of them later in the day, I just have a couple hours where I can literally just sit and read and drink coffee and just kind of collect myself. It is the greatest time of the day. I love it. I love that so much.
I usually wake up about 5 o'clock in the evening, and Jake will have coffee ready for me. I've been trying to stay as close on a night schedule as I can because I like on my nights off that I can just sit in our room, and we have a big folding table. I do laundry, and that's really where this the big push to finish Fellowship was to get it done by the end of the year, but I continued it because Jake has trouble sleeping off and on, so here lately he had been sleeping better and the TV had been off. So I have this really low lamp in the room, and I'll fold clothes, and I thought, well, I guess I could put in earbuds and watch TV on my phone or turn it down real low, and I thought, well, no, I'll see about reading. And so I'll be up 4 or 5 hours by myself in the middle of the night, and I'll fold clothes and put them in the washer and everything, and then I'll read for like half an hour, 45 minutes. And then I go check on clothes, and it's just back and forth, and I will read so much. And it's almost like I'll get to a point where I'm like, okay, I got to hurry up and fold this basket because my reward is I get to sit back down and read. But I can't do it while this basket of clothes is overflowing. So I got to finish this, put it away, and then I can read.
See, I actually did that today.
Did you?
Yeah, I was, I read, I was like, okay, whenever I get to like 220, I'll stop. And then I'll write an article. And then I'd write my article, and then I'd go make another pot of coffee, and then I would come back. I drank a lot of coffee today. And then I'd come back in, and I would read another like 10, 15, 20 pages. I'd set another goal. And then whenever I reach that, okay, write another article. So that it was just a nice little system, which is also like such a blessing that I have the kind of job that I can control when.
Yeah.
I have a deadline, so as long as I have everything done by that deadline, it's okay. So some days I won't do any work. Like I won't write at all on it. And then other days, like, I'll have a system like this. And I like that because then if I do this, I'll get like 3 or 4 articles done in one day, and that's most of my week. So then it's like, okay, well now all I have to do is worry about a couple of them. And my editor just doubled my workload, which is nice because that means more money.
Right, yeah.
But it's like, okay, well now I have to have this system down.
I do like our flow though. Like when we bring coffee to each other before we wake up. I've never been a coffee drinker. I was always a pop drinker.
Thank God you are now.
And I always wanted to be a coffee drinker, but I
Right.
didn't like it. And lots of times I was like, this is pointless because I put so much creamer in here. Why don't I just drink pop? Or I drink an iced coffee every once in a while. Every once in a while, I would have a hot cup of coffee. But again, there's tons of creamer in it. And then I don't know, like maybe a few months ago, I just started wanting black coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I didn't have any. I just wanted it. And I kept thinking, maybe I should start drinking coffee. And then
one
Jay
day
just
she was
made
just
it
like,
for
here.
me. I was like, will you make me some coffee? And I put some cream and sugar in it, but not a lot. And now I just drink black coffee.
Yeah, I don't put anything in my coffee. Like years ago I would, but I don't put anything in my coffee now.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I really enjoy that bitter taste of coffee.
But it's so crazy
I
because
like
I always
it.
thought that was so disgusting.
Yeah, and
now
I'm a big fan of it.
And
You'd probably like dark chocolate now too.
and the past couple of days, I got off my sleeping schedule a little. And let's see, I was off Friday, Saturday, and tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, I slept until 8 p.m. because I didn't go to bed until like 11 or noon. And I got up and watched some TV with the kids and did some things, but I went back to sleep by 6 o'clock the next morning and then woke up at 2. And I didn't have any coffee that day, and I didn't do any laundry, and I didn't have any motivation. And then the same thing yesterday.
Yeah.
I went to bed too early, and I had pop, I had caffeine, but it's different when you have, I don't know. I think
Just so
I think
people
with
know,
pop,
depending on where you are, pop is soda.
okay, well,
We're
it's
yeah.
pop.
We live in Indiana, so we have some Australian people. I don't know
so
if they.
soda, Coke, whatever
Yeah.
you may call it, we call it pop here in Indiana.
Speaking of which, what's up, Australia?
Hey, how's it going? So I think it's the sugar. So you get the caffeine, but then there's so much sugar in it that you have a sugar crash.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have any, and I took a 4-hour nap today because I accidentally woke up at 6:30 in the morning. I got to work tomorrow night, so I've got to sleep in tomorrow.
Yeah.
After I go get my second vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I woke her up with some coffee tonight. Now it was like 8 o'clock.
I already feel better.
I was like,
It's
I
so
woke her up
different.
with, I set the cup on her nightstand, which is like, hey, maybe go ahead and start getting up now. Like,
And I just lean over and slowly sip it.
yeah.
It wakes you up so much fast.
Yeah, it's
faster
great.
than
So
pop,
much
I'd be
fast.
yeah, so much fast.
So
But
much
pop,
fast.
I'd be like, oh, I need a Dr. Pepper, and I'd drink it, and I'd still be tired. Now I'm like, coffee.
Yeah, I'm a
I
big
see
fan
what
of
you people were all saying about coffee all these years.
Yeah. So maybe apologize for calling us all gross.
I am sorry.
Yeah. I really love drinking coffee and reading books.
Mm-hmm.
It's so nice. And writing and drinking.
Yeah.
Like it's getting to the point where it's hard for me to type out an article and not have coffee.
You know what I like? I like what you did earlier. I like having coffee and sitting in bed and just having quiet.
Oh yeah.
I always thought I could never just sit and enjoy a hot beverage with nothing else going on.
Right.
And
Well,
now I can.
That's another cool thing about the way that we're working right now is that I can sit here at the table with my computer and put in my earbuds and just jam music, drink coffee, and just pump out articles while you're sleeping. And you're asleep because I'm in the dark doing it. It's nice.
Yeah.
We got a good life.
Yeah.
Things are going great.
Good rhythm.
Very happy. I like things. I like you. I like
you.
I like what's going on.
You're pretty dope, man.
Speaking of liking things, I like all of you that are listening to this podcast. I like that you guys are supportive and that you folks are amazing. So thank you for that. Speaking of which, if you've not gone to Facebook and joined the podcast group page, you should check that out. It's Jake Rubel's Blessed Ones on Facebook. There's a couple quick questions, just to make sure that you're not some bot or something. So answer a few questions. We've got, I think, 20 new members this week.
Nice.
So that's fun.
Welcome, blessed ones.
So yeah, jump over there and do that. You can find us on any social media, Indiana Rubel. You can find out our information on jakerubel.com. You can find us on YouTube, pretty much anywhere. So I just wanted to say thank you. And also, it's a new year, so I guess I should probably throw this out there. We do have a Patreon page. It's if you just go to patreon.com/laughandbeblessed, you can contribute to the show and get some freebies. You can get we have t-shirts and all kinds of stuff that, depending on what level you are, just throw, if you like the show. It's free, but if you feel like helping, that's fine. If not, I get it. I'm still going to do the show for you, but we appreciate those of you that are contributing to it. Jared and Pam, we love you. Thank you for what you're doing. It's very important to us to have people that are, just fun people that are doing cool things. So thank you. And speaking of which, we are about to have new t-shirts. We do still have some Laugh and Be Blessed shirts in stock. If you are wanting one, I do still have our first run that is it's a limited run. We will not have these same shirts again. So they're almost out. If you do want one of these shirts, they are tie-dye shirts, Laugh and Be Blessed on them with our logo. They're $20 for a shirt. Message us about shipping and all that stuff. Just shoot us a message if you want one. The easiest way is to just go to jakerubel.com and then go down to contact me at the bottom of the page, and you can just email us. You can also email us at jakeandchia@gmail.com. So just jakeandchia, CHIA @gmail.com. I don't think I have to tell you how to spell Jake. But,
We have an email?
yeah, there's an email, Jake and Chia.
How long has that existed?
It's technically for our YouTube show.
Oh.
Let's Talk Games is technically for that. But people can...
good to know.
I'll still get it.
Just use my name for emails.
I'll still get it. You were there when I set it up.
I don't remember this.
Well, you don't remember a lot of things that happen in our relationship. That's okay.
Thank God.
I'm the better for it. So, yeah, we do like hearing from you guys. The past show, there was a couple people who are fans of the podcast that showed up at the show. Got a couple T-shirts, got some koozies. They got some stuff and got some pictures, and it was fun seeing them. And, yeah, hopefully I see other people show up to things that like us. Sometimes Chia's there. I know most people listen to this for Chia. Sometimes she's there. Mm-hmm. Not always. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you for everything that you guys do. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the downloads. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the reviews. Thank you for the comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for everything. But thank you for just being here and just being blessed with us. I know that there wasn't a lot of laughs in this episode, and that's okay because we were just kind of focused on just talking about what's going on mentally with us right now and our goal that we're working on. So, more laughs to come, more blessings to come, more episodes to come. So we will see you guys next week. So do us a favor all week long, every day, every second of the day. Just do us a favor and
laugh and be blessed.